up, everybody? So Hardy Construction. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, mostly on YouTube. Give us a like. Hit that bell icon. Give us a thumbs up, because then you'll see more of us. And that's what the world needs right now. With your host, Comp and
Moby.
And today's film is
Ready or Not, 2019.
Ready or Not, 2019. A bride's wedding night takes a sinister turn when her eccentric new laws force her to take part in a terrifying game. Directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett. Written by Guy Bissek and R. Christopher Murphy. Starring Samara Weaving, Adam Brody, Adam Brody, Mark O'Brien, Marky Mark, Henry Czerny, and Andy McDowell, with a whole bunch of other people. So
wasn't it cool that Andy McDowell was in this?
Yeah, it was. I hadn't seen her in a while. I mean, she has been in plenty of things. You know, she's never stopped acting that I recall.
I mean, I haven't seen her as like an older woman in anything.
That's
really.
True.
Like,
right. Her biggest thing, I guess, was Groundhog Day. I'm sure she was in obviously Sex, Lies, and Videotapes, and 4 Weddings and a Funeral and stuff like that. But she hasn't really stopped, as far as I can see any work. And she's got those serious gilf vibes. So she's keeping herself quite classy. So the reason why I picked Ready or Not is because I just keep hearing about this movie. I'd seen the trailer. I saw the trailer when I went to go see I forgot the hell the name of that movie. It was 1904. I don't know what the hell it was. It was a war movie. It was really good.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Or something like that? 1970? Fuck, could I forget 4 numbers for a movie and I forget the numbers. So I saw the trailer for that. And the trailer was like showing everything. Like, it showed absolutely, except for the supernatural angle, it showed everything. I was like, holy shit! They just showed the whole movie, and it was nice looking.
I mean, the supernatural angle is very mild.
Right,
it really
right.
like comes into play.
It's more of a punchline, yeah. But this, like, I saw that, and I was like, all right. I mean, it looks interesting, and Samara Weaving is in essentially every movie that comes out. I've seen
is she? Because I think this is the first time I've ever seen her. Is Hugo Weaving's niece?
Where we've seen her. What'd you say?
Is Hugo Weaving's niece? I believe.
Oh, okay. No, we saw her. Apparently she was in the first season of the Evil Dead TV show. She was the blonde girl that gets killed off in the house in the first season.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, she was in Ash vs. Evil Dead. She played Heather for 3 episodes. She's really good in that. Sorry,
I'm not recalling. I mean, I just watched it even, but
there were like there were 2 extra characters. Like when they went to the cabin in the first season, was like this African American girl. Remember, I think she was a cop.
Okay.
And then there was that kind of stock blonde girl that was with them.
Yeah.
So she's not British. I thought she was British for some reason. You know, it is because
she's Australian, I think.
Okay, so then all right. So I'm just mistaking that she would have the same accent as this guy Vito. Who is it? Hugo. Oh, Hugo Weaving. You know what I thought you said? I thought you meant
he's the elf.
Right.
Elf.
He's also Agent Smith. You know, I thought you just said. I thought she was Viggo Mortensen. I don't know why I thought
no.
For him. But yeah. So I've seen her in a lot of.
She kind of looks like him too.
You know who she looks like a lot though? I can see it now. But she looks a lot like Margot Robbie, to the point that you know the girl who plays Harley Quinn in those movies. Yeah. To the fact that I was like, I actually mixed them up, and I rarely do that now because I don't have that sort of issue with people's faces anymore. But she.
Do you have face blindness?
Not. I used to have it with certain actors, but with her, like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and I forgot who the other actor is that looks just like him. Who's the Spanish guy from No Country for Old Men? Javier Bardem, and them look very similar to me. But anyway, with
this
her,
is
like,
fascinating hearing about this.
She's like Margot Robbie, but if Margot Robbie did every like really good genre film, like she's in a lot of genre films. She was in.
I guess I don't really know her from much.
She was in The Babysitter, and The Babysitter apparently is like people really like that movie, and it's on Netflix.
I remember an older one with the girl who played Batgirl in that really old Batman movie.
Oh yeah, I know you.
It was like a weird sex movie though.
Isn't that where she stole a used
Alicia
condom?
Silverstone.
And yeah, she stole a used condom from the guy she was obsessed with to sell that she was sexually assaulted. So she made self-bukkake.
Good tips, guys.
So she was in no, that's bad tips. So she was in 3 Billboards Out of Ebbing, Missouri, which was really good. She was in Ready or Not. There's no way.
Monster Trucks. I don't know any of these movies.
Yeah, Monster Trucks was like apparently a very expensive film and went right into the toilet. She was in. I just recently saw her in Bill and Ted Face the Music, which I liked a lot.
How was that?
It was fun. It was a fun movie. It was a nice way to send it off, actually. and she's gonna be playing Scarlet in the new G.I. Joe movie. So good for her. She'll be awesome. They I don't know what they did with that first. The first G.I. Joe movie was actually fun, but they fucked around.
I really liked it, actually.
I liked it too, but I mean, they made the Baroness an American girl, so I don't understand why. The Baroness clearly had a Russian accent in the show. She was Russian, and then she was like, oh, she was suddenly the good guy's girlfriend. I was like, why didn't they make it? And I was like, forget it. Anyway, she was also in I Can't.
We should, you know, what we should talk about.
Wait, two more things about Samara Weaving.
Ready or Not.
She was in Guns Akimbo with Daniel Radcliffe, where he plays a guy who's forced into. It's very much like this. She's in a game of killing people. It's a really fun movie, and he has two guns welded into his hands. So he has to hunt her down, and she plays a really good fucking psychopath in it. She's
this movie reminded me a lot in the same vibe of like You're Next.
Very much, and to the point that I think that it was modeled after it. There's been plenty of.
Although I think this is better, actually.
Okay, I think the opposite in some sense, but no, actually, I think they're sort of similar. But I think Your Next has a better edge to it. But I think that might just because I saw it earlier. This is more polished than Your Next.
I guess I like the story of this better, but Your Next has more of like a punch to it.
Right. So Samara Weaving is playing the bride character, and not. I guess there's a bride as opposed to the one from Kill Bill. How does it start out, Danny?
It starts out with this little boy, and there's a guy running at him. He's in danger. He's got a little stab wound in him or something. And then the little boy rats out the guy, and all the family come in scary masks.
They were like,
kill him.
Daniel, tell us, where is he, Daniel? Remember that?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so Daniel's important to this movie.
Daniel is important. I would assume that Daniel would have been
the brother with
the actual fiance,
Brody,
but not ended up being.
Yeah, it was Adam Brody. Adam Brody, who's had a long sort of.
I mean, honestly, Daniel ends up being more of a main character than the fiance.
Dan, because he's more sympathetic. And he's been in a lot of films. He's sort of that guy actor. He was most famously in The O.C., which was the show that went on like the CW for a long time.
I've heard of it, I never saw it.
2003 or 2007, I guess that's not that very long. Jennifer's Body, he's been in a lot of things, and he's sort of one of those actors
that's a good one,
dependable.
Jennifer's Body, I love that.
I like that movie too, yeah. Anybody want to listen to the episode where Danny and Thea argue, it's that one, it's great. It's more Danny being like, just making sexual remarks and Thea upset, and it's the funniest episode because I'm just like, I'm egging it on, it's so funny. But anyway, so Samara Weaving is playing Grace. She's getting married to Mark O'Brien, an actor that looked very familiar to me, but I didn't know what
he just looks like a generic man. Like
he
I
does.
Don't know.
You know, he looked like the evil preacher from Mandy. You know that guy with the long hair? He looks like that actor.
Okay. The guy that's in the LSD cult.
Yeah. It's very much like he has a very like standard Anglo-Saxon sort of British guy face.
He just looks like somebody 3D printed a man.
Like he's walking around in a video game. Like if you played a video game, he'd be walking around and stuff.
Yeah, he'd be like the Sim character.
So he's been in Arrival, which is a really good movie. But he's actually very good in this movie. It's a very good. He's very easily you can make him sort of a stock character because much like You're Next, and there's very big parallels between this and that film to the point that
I thought of it several times. I wouldn't say this movie's ripping it off, but it's the total same genre.
Yeah, they took the same premise. There's plenty of genre movies where women get revenge or they have to survive. Like, let's say Aliens and shit like that. But Aliens is like a completely different type of film than this is, and it's like a science fiction horror film.
Well, this would go more into like, Hush and stuff like that, like chasing slashers. But this is still
right. But there's something very much different about how it's handled. And we're gonna bring up fucking that movie too many times, honestly. So let's kind of just square that away right now with You're Next. Is that You're Next? What's the interesting about that? But it's still it's a good. I enjoy that movie. It's the production of it is very shoddy. It does not have the amount of money that's put into this, but it's still dependable as what it is.
I feel like that movie was more like, you get like you cheer when the death happens, like it's like a football game.
It was like oh no, I thought that was the same. You don't think it was the same year?
No, this was more just like, ooh,
comedy.
Nice, cool. Like,
okay, yeah. So your next was more of like turning the head on its trope of the scared girl, running away from people. Obviously, it's a woman in charge, and I like that character was brought up on a survivalist camp. Like they directly say it. So Samara Weaving's Grace in here isn't like Superwoman. Not like that woman was Superwoman either.
I mean, she doesn't really have to be in this because the sister is going around killing everybody like an idiot.
She's dealing with a bunch of bumbling rich people. So it is very much talking about the one percenters, the very rich people.
I can't think of the name of the cokehead sister that's killing people. It's so funny.
I think it's Melanie Scrofano. She's playing Emily. Sorry, yeah, Emily. She's very funny in this, actually. She's very good.
Are you sure that's the same one?
Yeah, very much.
Character? Okay.
Yes, it is. I'm looking at her right now. She is. Is she the? Okay, so she's been on a series called Winona Earp that people love. I think it's like.
Oh yeah, this is her.
I think she goes and fights vampires in that show. People love that fucking show. They just love that show, and it's been on TV for a while, but I have never seen it. So good for her to.
This girl is now just awesome. Like she's so goofy
I think she plays
funny.
more. Yeah, I think she plays more of a tough character in that show. Because in this, she's like goofy and she's very funny, very comedically. Like everybody.
Yeah, no, she's like amazing. Like I love her. I have a crush.
Everybody here is very, comically gifted in this movie.
And the guy, her husband Fitch, he reminded me so much of. He reminded me so much of Otho in.
Yes, yeah, because you know what it is. He had that little special curl in his hair too.
Okay.
That's Christian Brune. So that's he's been in a lot of he's good for him. He's very. I found him very funny. Like what this situation they gave.
Everybody in this was awesome. Like I love
the fact that he was
the whole
even
cast was great.
Even like the scumbag butler, like he was good too. He was more of a tough guy. Good. I think that's John Ralston who plays Stevens. The father was very funny too. The father reminded me of that actor Ray, the guy that you like a lot from Twin Peaks. The guy who was
Leland? Ray Wise.
Ray Wise, right. Yeah. He gave me that sort of vibe, but he was very good on his own. Everybody was actually very good in this film. So they get married. We get this sort of that, like the opening you said, they show the kids give up the goods on this one guy. They kill him. You see this woman who's horrified and doing it. Flash forward, I guess 30 years was it? Yeah, it was 30 years. Like that. Yeah, it said 30 years. So the kid, I guess the kid was maybe 6 or 7 years old. So he's probably like 37, 39 now. So we're now seeing the marriage between Grace and Alex.
Good math. I'm proud of you.
No, it says 30 years later in the fucking beginning, so that's what I remember. And the kid was 6 or 7, so I'm not. Believe me, I would have never got out unless I kissed ass in math. So Grace and Alex are getting together, and clearly Alex has an issue with his family. They're very cold and very rich, and they have this palatial fucking estate. And the whole point is that the setup is that they have to go play one game with Grace. The whole family has to play this one game. She has to pick a card.
See, I would have been out the second they said that. I'd be like, no.
No, but I mean, do you really think like it's? Would you sit there and go, "Oh, they're gonna play a game where they're gonna fucking kill me"?
As soon as they started talking about a ghost picking the thing, I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good. Like, see ya."
Yeah. So I don't even know how that game. Like, did it play because it was printing in the card itself? What came out?
I think the ghost chose the thing.
Okay, because they put a blank card inside. I didn't understand how the mechanism of that worked unless the ghost magically wrote on the card itself. But it wasn't. It was like a printed card with graphics on it. So they explained that the family... And I like that whole setup, that whole creepy giant painting of, I guess it was the grandfather hunting a tiger. It has they had a very good use.
How many generations was it implied that this has been going on?
This was the third. This was the... I think this is the fourth generation that this happened. It wasn't that very far because everybody lifespans are like 70, 70 to 80 years, so it's not too much of a stretch to say this was the fourth generation. Because I know he said my grandfather and then my father, so he didn't really go back and say my great grandfather or something like that. So apparently there was
I would take a deal like this, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
So the ghost of the guy, I guess, who made the first bet with them is still sort of haunting the house, which I thought was interesting because there's a part where they look at this chair and it's like really ominous. But you didn't go into this fucking movie thinking it's supernatural. Like it's not really supernatural for the most part. It's just a payoff.
When they show the box, I'm like, okay, it's like a Hellraiser box.
Oh, okay, right.
Whatever the hell.
But I remember reading somewhere somebody had spoiled that it was like a supernatural film. I was like, what? Because the trailer has nothing about that, and maybe that they didn't want that to happen because really there's nothing spooky that happens that would merit putting that. And plus, if you did, it would be fucking spoiling the whole film.
Yeah.
But so the whole point of the film is that she draws the wrong card, and she thinks it's funny that she's just gonna.
Well, the ghost chose the card for her,
right? So they're gonna,
or like Satan or whatever. So I mean,
so my theory is that ghost wanted to get rid of that whole family anyway. Like he was just fucking tired of them, and although, like. How many? Because the father was talking about other family members in the same bloodline that had the same traditions,
right.
and if they didn't play it, they get killed. So the very big thing, because Alex didn't really believe it, but he must have on some level. So that's why he brought her back into the fold to sort of get married, which is very poor on his part. Very poor judgment on his part. And I like this character obviously up to a point where you were like, oh, okay. I figured that was going to happen just from the trailer, because. In the trailer, there's a part where she is. They don't show who she's.
Did they show that in the trailer?
No. In the trailer, they show her smashing. Remember when she's smashing the mother's head in with a box or something?
Yeah.
And she's saying "fuck your family," and she says that in the trailer. And I was like, oh, when you hear "fuck your family," I think she's talking to her husband. So I was like, oh, they're gonna kill the husband. But when it was the mother, I was like, oh, okay. But then the husband does the fucking turn, the face turn at the end. I was like, oh, so they did. I was like, I was right. They're gonna.
What would be cool? If the mother had to relive this day over and over and over. She's done it just like... and she's done it like a million times now.
So this is the one where...
Do you think Bill Murray ever tells her about that, like in detail, about how he relived it over and over, or do you think he just lets it slide?
You don't know what... I never saw that movie, but I'm sure Bill Murray was doing up some...
Wait, you never saw that movie?
We've spoken that already. We've talked about that.
Can you just watch it?
Sure. No,
seriously.
So Bill Murray was probably like, God knows what he got up to. He's probably like a serial killer and a fucking necrophile.
Well, he did do some bad stuff.
There you go. So he probably went to a necrophile, but that's the one that they didn't show it.
I would have done everything.
Legally. So Grace is set off in the house. Let's talk about what works and what didn't work for the film for you. Like, what worked for you with this movie?
Yeah, I really can't think of anything that didn't work. I guess it's a little too much, tropey.
In what sense?
I guess. Well, we basically said, oh, it's the same movie as You're Next,
right.
But, but it's still, really, good.
It's, the thing is, it's
it's not an original, it's not like an original story, but it's great.
Yeah, it's what they did is they took a pretty, a very... Not that you see that sort of plot used a lot. A woman sort of...
It's just hard to be... I mean, at this point, we've seen 8 million fucking horror movies. It's hard to do something brand new.
Yeah, but it's nice to see a genre that you rarely see. But what I was saying is that they took this sort of idea that's been done really well with You're Next, and they sort of remixed it with very good, solid comedy in it. Very dark humor.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so many ways you can do it. Where I'm sure there's fucking hundreds of. I'm sure as soon as
the butler singing and shit was great.
And that great scene with the operatic music too. But I'm sure as soon as Your Next came out, I'm sure there was fucking hundreds of. Oh, a woman gets revenge, or the strong woman destroys these people, and it's just the good thing about You're Next is that the way it was staged and the way that the main character, the woman in it, kicked the fuck out of everybody. That was the fun part of it, And the same thing with this is you actually like Grace because Samara Weaving is an excellent fucking actor, and she has
she's amazing.
She has these gigantic ice blue eyes, and it's you just sort of hypnotized by the way she is in the film.
But she's not really much of a fighter
she's not.
In this.
It's
she's kind of getting her ass kicked
what
the whole
happens
time,
is she's getting a lot of luck is happening for her in the fact that when they somebody will kill a maid instead or.
Oh, remember when she put her hand on the nail? Oh
yeah, that was pretty bad. She better get a fucking
I cringed so bad.
I knew that was gonna happen. I really knew that was gonna happen. But she should get a tetanus shot for that. But I was so glad when that.
Yeah, we should tell her to go get a tetanus shot.
Let's go call up the writers. But it's like the little kid who shot her through her hand. I was like, you little rat shit. And you're not gonna fucking.
Yeah, that.
I was
like,
they're not gonna kill a little kid in the movie, and then they did. I was like, oh, okay, that's pleasant. But of course they.
Well, did she kill him or did she hit him?
The kid blew up.
Remember right, yeah.
He came out and he blew up.
Now let me ask.
They did that off
because
screen.
I was wondering how come she doesn't blow up because she got married, but I guess until she plays the game.
No, yeah, I think it's because she wins and she's the fucking. They're looking for her.
Yeah, I think you have to have playing the game and been accepted formally
and then
before you
as soon as she
Because I was kind of half expecting her to blow up. I thought that would be a mean ending.
Right. Which I'm glad it didn't. I was actually like, ooh, I was hoping that wasn't happening. But the fact that because he was gonna survive it, but the fact that she divorced him that's what makes him blow up at the end, which is funny. I mean, all around, every actor in this is so fucking good. Really standouts obviously are like Samara. I can't even say anybody who's stand out. They're all just very good in the fucking movie, and you're just like, oh, okay. Like I think what
definitely the cokehead sister, and the dad was awesome. Really everybody was good.
Charity, who's played by Elise Levesque, who is the wife of the nice brother.
She was like the posh one, right?
Yeah, so she sort of is not given much. Like, she was almost going to fuck Alex at the beginning of the film. Because she was like, do you need some company? But he wasn't there, obviously. He ran out. But she's sort of like... she is almost like a copy of the girl with the black hair from You're Next. You know, the one that was plotting it with her boyfriend? The one that she gets fucking stabbed in the head with a fucking knife. Like, she was just a real asshole character. So she's not really given much. Like, she's supposed to be the snarling asshole bad guy. But she's not as, like, I guess you would hate her just because she's in the film as the bad guy, but she's not really given much. But she did have sort of a shitty past, just like Grace did.
What's that classic romance movie about the poor girl marrying the rich guy, and the rich guy's dad like disapproves of the poor girl?
Are you asking me seriously? That's like like 500 fucking movies like that. What are
No, this is like the one. Hold on.
Oh, okay. So you're looking for it. There's stuff like Pretty Woman, stuff like that. Even though that's not marriage, just a guy paying a hooker. Or I'm sorry, is it a sex worker that they would call them now?
I can't find it. Whatever.
So during rehearsals, a producer was accidentally stabbed with a prop knife wielded by Adam Brody. Brody was playing around and thought the knife was retractable. The producer received 8 stitches to his shoulder, returning to the set later that day.
Shit.
Wowzers.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I wonder Adam Brody must have been like, holy shit.
That reminds me of the show Oz.
Oh, yeah? What happened there? Oh, right, we're at the final episode, right? With Schillinger?
Yeah, don't say. But
yeah, I remember that. Oh, look at this. Margot Robbie was considered for the role of Grace. There you go. And I really...
let's get someone who looks just like her.
And who probably doesn't cost as much. I really think... Because I was looking at the name. The name is Les Dumas. I thought they were doing the same fucking stupid joke from Tales from the Hood 2. Dumbass. Remember Dumas? Dumbass?
Oh, I don't remember that. That was such a
They
dumb
made a part
movie.
3, so we gotta watch that one.
I don't...
It says the Les Dumas family empire of board games is based on now-defunct game manufacturers Milton Bradley Company. Whoa, they're defunct now? Milton Bradley and Parker Brothers?
What happened?
They're owned by Hasbro. Whoa, interesting.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Every time I go to a 99-cent store, you see fucking many boxes of board games, but I don't have any friends or family that want to play that shit, so... I like that. I like, when
play online board game. I've been playing Rummy Cube online.
Something that's different about it. But now you don't want to play with anybody, honestly, because people are disgusting and they can't control.
Yeah, no, that's why I've been playing online with people. Because who the hell am I gonna fucking be with?
But I even like that very subtle sort of ghost effect of the guy in the chair when he comes out at the end. It's like comes out in flames, and then she's like, "Well, shit," because she was like, she didn't believe any of that shit. I guess obviously she did believe when everybody started exploding at the end. But I think it's I don't know. I here's the thing with this film, because I liked it, but it's very inoffensive. It's very sort of so super clean and so super tight.
Yeah, it's not gritty.
Yeah, there's no grit to it. It's because it's so polished, and it's not in a negative way. I mean, some people...
Although that hand on the nail scene was pretty gritty.
That was good. But to me, that was like the same shit I would see in like Michael Bay's version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. You know, it's just... That was even more gross than this one. But
did he do that?
He produced a remake that people love. I didn't think that was fucking... I didn't think... It was okay. I didn't think people were like...
I'm glad I don't hear that guy's name so much anymore.
So, he'll be back. He was always back. Yeah, the directors are called Radio Silence. It's two guys. Yeah, they call themselves Radio Silence. So they're directing Scream 5, the new one coming out, and
there's another Scream coming out,
and they're bringing back the original people again. That always upsets me with slasher movies when they kill the characters that you like. It's like Freddy Krueger 4 when they killed all the characters I liked from Part 3, and I was like, well, fuck.
I love the third and fourth one, though. They're so fun. Good.
I remember I didn't want to see 4 because they killed my characters that I liked in the third one. And then I saw it and I was like, that's pretty good.
Those two movies, I still don't know which I like better.
3 is classic, dude. But
no, they're both classic. Some of the death scenes in the fourth one, that Roach Motel thing.
Excellent. I think they have better death scenes in the fourth one than they do in the third. But I think the third has a better put together sort of, film. Like it's a film.
I like the actress who plays her in the third one.
The redhead, right?
More, but then the whole Karate Brother thing and the girl, I don't know. It's like lovable.
So they directed segments from that great movie Southbound. Do you know how many people love Southbound?
Oh, that stupid hell one?
Do you know how many people love Southbound? So many.
That's the one where they're in hell and they go to a hospital at one point.
Right, that was the good part. The one where the guy's taking because he hits the girl with the car and he tries to save her life in the hospital.
Yeah. And then he's talking gibberish into the phone. I did like that one actually, but
directed,
the movie as a whole was kind of stupid.
Yeah, I think these guys they directed the 2 guys driving around and it's like a loop and there's like ghosts following them. It was like all that.
Yeah, and there's like a big monster in the sky.
Yeah, and it was like people love this movie. Like really well known, and I'm like, really? People like...
Well, you know what? I think that movie was shit, but this movie's great, guys, if you're listening.
Thank God they pleased us, right? Is that right?
Exactly, because my opinion is all that matters.
I think they did the segment in VHS, which I think was the haunted house segment, the neat one. VHS 1 was the best one out of all those VHS
you know what? I don't remember. Is that the one where everybody's levitating up into the air? I think so,
yeah, the last one, 1031.
Oh, that was a good one, actually.
VHS 1 all around was very good, and they, so they had a hand in that as well.
But you know what? That, there was a really fun, Mexican skateboard one at the end of the third one, I think.
Fuck you. Are you serious? In the third one?
Wasn't it fun?
VHS 3 is when they were running away from Mexican zombies on skateboards.
I feel like I like that one. Do I not like it? I don't remember. I'm going off for 4 years.
All I know is I saw VHS 3 and I couldn't believe how horrible the movie went.
I feel like there was at least one or two good ones. What about the one with the What about the one where they were in that weird hospital? It was Korean or something.
That was good. That was part 2.
Thinking of ABCs of Death.
No, VHS 2 is that the one with the cult people and the girl was.
Yeah.
That was VHS 2. That was awesome. That was good.
It was that Asian man and the white guy.
Right, and in the VHS 3, that's the one where they had the magician versus the girl, and it was the worst fucking. I couldn't believe how bad that was. Anyway, forget those movies. VHS 1 and parts of VHS 2 are great. The rest of them. And
everybody should watch ABCs of Death 1 and 2.
They should see that great one, the one where the girl has the miscarriage.
Oh, miscarriage. M is for miscarriage. God, that one was terrible.
M is for miscarriage. A thing that they should have rage in the streets for. Anyway,
it was honestly the worst of anything. Whatever.
Anyway, so back to we had to fill some time in this episode, but anyway, so I think it's a solid film. It gets its job done. It's very funny, so I think it's improving on a genre in the sense that sometimes you might want to see comedy in that type of film, sometimes you don't. I think it works for both of those films. So I think
every horror movie should have elements of comedy because they're they're comedies with blood. That's how I always say.
It breaks up tension and stuff like that. But I think that's a good double feature. Certainly is You're Next and this film. So obviously I do believe that clearly.
Well, you know what? I take that back because there's some that are whatever.
But definitely, this director, these directors run in the same circles as the directors of You're Next. So I can imagine the guy from You're Next going "What the fuck? You just took my idea and made it like a big budget movie." Because they all worked together VHS wise on those films. So anyway, I think it's a solid 7 film. It's a very clean, good-looking film. But I wasn't blown away. I enjoyed it a lot.
I was wowed. I liked it.
All right, 7.5. What do you like that? I'll give it a 7.5. Nah, you're right. It's probably an 8. What am I talking about? I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Being so confounded by the weapon you're given, you have to Google it and try YouTube tutorials to see how to use this weapon. That was very funny.
Yeah, that was good. I give this an 8.5 out of 10. Shooting your help through the mouth, 2 seconds after you also shot your sister-in-law in the face.
So with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Portugal is a place in Europe.